Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. As you probably know right about now, New Japan Pro Wrestling has begun their annual round robin tournament, the Best of the Super Juniors. Now, for those who are new to this channel, I'll explain to you guys what exactly this is and what exactly is the Best of the Super Juniors in content. And of course, we move on with Ring of Honor with the Supercard Showdown, featuring many matches, of course, two Proving Ground matches, one championship match. As you know, they're only 1 day away for Supercard of Honor, which is going to be fun. And of course, finally, we have TNA with various things taking place. Of course, the X Division title once again is defended. Leon Slater, it will be once again facing Cedric Alexander, who has a huge chip on his shoulder, who is trying to end Leon Slater, his becoming the longest reigning X Division champion, which is something he believes is nothing more than a fairy tale. But we'll see how things will roll up. But however, we do have the Battle Royale for a #1 contendership for the TNA World title. So we'll see how things will go from there. And then finally, of course, we'll wrap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of these reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough of the jibber jabbers, let's get to it. So let's begin with New Japan Pro Wrestling with Best of the Super Juniors. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling. As you know, once again, we're back to their annual round robin tournament, Best of the Super Juniors. Now, for those who don't know what this one is, let me give you guys a brief description. If you are new to the channel, don't worry, I got you guys covered. The Best of the Super Juniors is about, of course, the junior heavyweight competitors, or if you fall into the category of cruiserweight, light heavyweight, that sort of thing. So basically, of course, and of course, not to mention the X Division guys, of course. So these guys, of course, are in fact the much of the 205 weight limit, of course, of these wrestlers, and they compete for a tournament that goes on for almost a month. And the winner, of course, gets a shot of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. A title that's currently in the possession of Doiki, who, of course, is instead of competing in the tournament, he decided to run like a coward because he doesn't want to get, because he knows that if he gets pinned people get an opportunity for a shot at the belt. But anyway, the idea of this tournament, of course, if you win a match, you get 2 points. Lose a match, 0 points. But in the scenario, of course, of a time limit draw or a double count out or double whatever, you get 1 point. However, things will get a bit more sketchy towards the end when they add up the points, and that's where I have to pay attention more closely on how things will roll from there. Now, of course, this year begins. We're in day 1 in Korakuen Hall. Now, I will announce which ones are from what block. Now, our first 2 matches are part of the B block. First match, we have Jacob Austin Young taking on Taiji Shimori. Now, of course, it's no secret, as you know, that Jacob Austin Young and Taiji Shimori are enemies due to the fact that they are Jacob Austin Young is part of the United Empire, Taiji Shimori part of Unbound. So basically, that was the whole thing. However, if you guys noticed, recently Jacob Austin Young has been harassing Milano for some odd reason. I don't know if he still wants to wrestle him, even though he can't. But however, it was a pretty good match, not to mention. But this also was Jacob Austin Young's first time being in it. But unfortunately, he did not succeed in this match, thanks to, of course, Ishimori with the crossbones. And just like that, he tapped out. And that gives, of course, Taiji Shimori his first 2 points. Next up, we have a bit of a House of Torture showdown. To be honest with you, these guys were going to cheat each other. It's no secret, because that's how they're going to play out. We got Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Sho, and all that. And of course, once again, Sho with his usual talk, and sometimes we just tell him to shut the hell up, because we don't need to hear his little nonsense. But of course, they were going to play their dirty tricks. I mean, with the whiskey, the wrench, all of that. But of course, Kanemaru accidentally whiskey missed the ref, and the ref disqualified him. So Sho got away with 2 points, which is kind of messed up, but I figured, of course, that's how they're going to play out. Now we jump into A block. We have Daiki Nagai versus Ryosuke Taguchi. This will make his 22nd time participating in this tournament. However, Daiki Nagai was really ready for this. He really had a game plan all sorted out. But when it comes to a veteran like Taguchi, well, he knows exactly what he needs to do. But Taguchi was able to pick up the win by applying a somewhat of a face buster onto him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Taguchi picked up his first 2 points. Now, jumping back to B block, we have Hayo from Dragon Gate making his appearance, and he got a very good standing ovation by many people. And of course, he faces Yo, who once again is acting kind of strange, like the way he's been behaving. I don't know, but I can tell you this match ended with a weird moment where, of course, there was a moment where Hayo actually kissed Yo in the lips, and I don't know what the hell was that all about. But somehow, Hayo was able to pick up the win by applying a senton driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he picked up his first 2 points. Now back to A block, we have Nick Wayne making his second appearance, part of this tournament. He faces against Robbie X, also making his second appearance. I thought this match was pretty good, a lot of high flying spots. But however, Nick Wayne was able to apply Wayne's World, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he picked up his first 2 points in this tournament. Now back to B block, we have Kushida versus Robbie Eagles, and I thought this match was interesting and all that. But I was surprised to find out that Kushida took off his shoes and he wrestled barefoot. Now, of course, it's kind of a bit dangerous, because someone can stop you with their own shoes on that. Luckily, that did not happen for him that very much. But I wasn't sure what Kushida was trying to do, but until he applied Back to the Future, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, jumping back to A block, we have Titan. Titan taking on Master Wato. I have to say, it was a pretty good match. Master Wato did everything humanly possible to take them down, but it did not work in his favor. It was, of course, Titan with the submission move, with the Llave Immortal, which is the key of the Immortal Key, and just like that, he tapped out, gaining Titan his first 2 points in the tournament. Now, our next match, we have the B block. We have Daisuke Sasaki from DDT Pro Wrestling appearing, taking on El Desperado. And of course, this was a very much aggressive match, of course, and that's something I'm sure Desperado loves to do. But unfortunately, Desperado ended up losing this match when Sasaki applied a crossface, and just like that, he tapped out. Now, jumping into the A block, we have Francisco Akira taking on Kosa Fujita, but I have to say, Fujita was smart enough to attack Francisco Akira right before the bell even rung. That is something I'm sure that Francisco Akira would have done, but Vegeta did it for him. And there was a moment where Francisco Akira, he got busted open, but unfortunately, Kosa Vegeta was able to pick up the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. He gets his first 2 points. So basically, we are now in the opening of this round. Everybody who won this match gets 2 points, but we will see what happens in day 2. But so right now, we're done with New Japan. Let's move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. This is the Supercard Showdown, just 1 day away from Supercard of Honor. Now, we opened up with a 6-woman tag team match. We have Maya World, Lacey Lane, and Yuka Sakazaki taking on Marina Shafir, Athena, and Billy Starks. Now, of course, this is a bit of a warm-up for the upcoming, of course, for certain people involving in the survival of fittest for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And that kind of sets it up right there. However, once again, Athena decided to steal the moment of glory from Billy Starks when she was about to apply a swanton. Unbeknownst to her, Athena tapped herself in, and just because of that, Athena picked up the win after the swanton onto Lacey Lane, and just like that, and Athena picked up the win. However, of course, during a video promo in the back, Athena was telling everybody, saying that she already defeated some of these girls twice, and they think that they're smarter. But the problem is, that's what it was. And Athena did not. But of course, Billy Starks confronted her about that. And of course, once again, this is about, Athena. And of course, Billy Starks needs to understand, no matter what, Athena's never going to allow her to shine. And that's something she has to wake up from it. So we'll see how things go from there. Now, our next match, we have Tommy Billington and Adam Priest taking on the Death Riders, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. Now, obviously, nothing too special about this match's story, but there were some good moments on this one. However, of course, this match ended with a good combination on the Busaiku knee by Yuta onto Priest, but it was Garcia who was the legal person that pinned Priest. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next match, we have a handicap match. Satnam Singh, once again, the big man, takes on 2 guys named James Tapia and C.D. Bennett. Now, obviously, I don't need to give the explanation. Ended with double choke slam. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Next up, we have Angelico taking on Josh Woods in a Pure Rules match. Obviously, we know that Angelico has challenged in Pure Rules before in the past. He does have a background in submission tactics, but unfortunately, when it comes to Josh Woods, it's not enough. Josh Woods was able to defeat him after applying a German suplex, but however, it seems Josh Woods decided to punish Angelico even further by applying an armbar, but of course, the referee tried to tell him to let him go. Even Serpentico pleaded with him, saying, "It's already over, just stop it." But of course, Josh Woods decided, the hell with it, until he is confronted by his opponent at Supercard of Honor, Nigel McGuinness. But of course, Josh Woods was not going to hear what he had to say, so he walked out. Now, Red Velvet, of course, as you all may know, that she will be participating in the upcoming match at Supercard of Honor, defending the ROH Women's World Television title against Viva Van, someone who she has met before in the past. So she is well prepared, but we'll see how she'll do at Supercard of Honor. Now, our next match is for the ROH six-man tag team belts. We have, of course, the Shane Taylor Promotions, um, Sean Dean, Carly Bravo, and Shane Taylor taking on Mance Warner, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. So you can tell this match was going to be a ball buster. And of course, we know that uh, Trish Adora and Christian EXO will be right there watching them. But however, we did see a combination neck breaker between Dean and Bravo onto Mance Warner, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they retain the championships. Now, next match, we have Evil Uno taking on Blake Christian, of course. Blake Christian, as you know, is using this match to send a direct message to his opponent at Supercard of Honor, the current ROH World Champion, Bandito, and then he intended to use the 21 plex as a direct message, and then he applied his own submission move, the Vanilla Choke Zone, and just like that, Evil Uno had to tap out. And then, of course, Christian gave like his little proclamation saying that once I beat Bandito, the sign will shine on me. I am the new ROH World Title Champion. So that's what he thinks. He thinks that the entire thing is already written, that he's already won. That's what he thinks it's already been. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, it seems that Lee Moriarty, as you know, is well prepared to defend this title and all that, and he will be defending it against, of course, Ace Austin. Now, Ace Austin, of course, he knows that he has lost some matches in Ring of Honor, but it gives him a learning experience. But he is willing to learn new things that he's never done before, so he'll pay attention to that. Now, our next match is a proving ground match for the ROH Women's Pure title. Deanna faces against Casey Lennox, and of course, you can tell this match was already over when Deanna applied the Fujiwara armbar, and just like that, it was over. However, of course, her opponent at Supercard of Honor, Diamantes, showed up and then attacked her, claiming herself that she would defeat her and become the new ROH Women's Pure Champion. So we'll see how that rolls out too. Now, our next match, we have the Outrunners, of course, teaming up with Dalton Castle once again, taking on Charlie Malik, Chit, Baby Keith, and Xander Maddox. Now, nothing too special about this match, but I figured this match was going to fall in favors with Castle and the Outrunners when they applied the triple elbow onto Malik Cheat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match is part of a qualifying match for the Survival of Fittest. Now, for those who may not remember, Persephone was supposed to participate in this match, but apparently she cannot appear so due to her injury, and we know that she'll participate in the Owen Hart Cup tournament, so they decided to have someone to qualify. We have Hyan versus Zyda Steele. Now, to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest, I would have assumed that Hyan was going to pick up the win. For obvious reasons, because we know Athena will be in the match, teaming up with, of course, Billy Starks, but I'm sure that one person needs a friend by their side, and Hyan would have been like that person to help Maya World to have her back, knowing too well that they need to get rid of Athena. But unfortunately, that did not happen, because Zeta Steele surprised everyone when she pinned Hyan, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she gets the final spot. Now, our next match is for the ROH World Television title, AR Fox and Nick Wayne. It's no secret it's about what happened between these two. I thought this match was going to end with, because, we see Nick Wayne has Mama Wayne and Kip Sabian by his corner. But however, that did not do any well for them, because AR Fox surprised everyone. Instead of using one of his usual methods, he defeated, of course, Nick Wayne with the inside cradle, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then, of course, out of nowhere, AR Fox's next opponent is someone who we did not anticipate, Leo Rush, and he wants him at Supercard of Honor, and it seems like it's going to happen. Now, our next match, we have the premier athletes, or should I say the premier dorks, of course, Story Denali, Tony Nese, and Aria Daivari, taking on JC Love, Ricky Martinez, and Ernest R. Alexander. But obviously, this match was going to fall in favor of the premier athletes. And thanks to Story Denali with the chokeslam onto JC Love. 1, 2, 3, done. Now our main event is a proving ground match for the ROH World Title. Action Andretti versus Bandito. Of course, this will be a perfect opportunity for Action Andretti in hopes that maybe he'll get a title shot, but unfortunately, he ended up being taken out by Bandito with the X knee, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, of course, we did see not Nick Wayne. Blake Christian, Lee Johnson, and then of course Jay Lethal. So maybe as you know, they're trying to send a message to him, but we'll see what happens at Supercard of Honor the following day. So we're done now with Ring of Honor. Let's move on with TNA. Okay, TNA. So we opened up with the Battle Royale for a #1 contendership for the TNA title. Now we did have members of the system involved. We even have, of course, let's see, Agent Zero and Eric Young, Frank Kazarian, Elijah, that sort of thing. So there were others too. However, I guess many of you were wondering who was going to walk out. Well, to surprise, it was Eric Young. Obviously, it could be Eric. It would have been Eric Young one way or the other for obvious reasons. If you follow the storyline, it's all about him trying to cleanse of TNA of what it is now, and that's what he's been telling the entire story since then. Now, we did see an interview with, of course, Gia talking to Leon Slater, knowing too well that he'll be defending this belt, his X Division title, in a 2 out of 3 falls. However, he is saying that However, a bit of pressure has been added, knowing too well if he wins in this particular day, the following day that will mark him as the longest reigning champion. And of course, the Hardys decided to be there to support him, told him to have his back no matter what. Now, Gia Miller had the talk with, of course, with Mustafa Ali, talking about this whole 3 wishes and that whole thing. That's what he's been trying to prove out. So I don't know what he's talking about, but it's a bit of a confusing. But yeah. Now, Ying Lian, as you know, regained the TNA Knockouts World title from Ariana Grace, which was the best night ever. But of course, as you all know, she has to contend and deal with the person who stabbed her in the back, and that is, of course, her former best friend, Xia Brookside. So obviously, we will see those two face off, but the real question is, when? Now, the system, as you know, they are in a good mood. They just revealed, of course, that they were the ones responsible to taking out Moose. So obviously, Moose would not be there to back up, of course, Leon Slater after what just transpired. And of course, they're trying to make sure that he stays out of their business once and for all. And of course, Cedric Alexander is declaring that Leon Slater, this whole thing about becoming the longest reigning champion, is nothing more than a fairy tale. We know that Cedric Alexander has a huge chip on his shoulder, so he's determined to prove that Leon Slater is nothing more than a fraud. Now, we did see another interview in ringside with the guy who has done MMA and currently acting, and it's Keith Gendardi or something like that. Yes, he was doing the whole thing, how he was enjoying everything. However, he was rudely interrupted, of course, by the Elegant brands getting in his face, and of course Mr. Elegance. Let's just say they're trying to show that he will never have physique like him, and then of course Jardine was not going to let this whole thing get in his way, and he even called the ladies the hoes of it, which was insulting. Even the security tried to separate them, and they try to say, we're not going to deal with it. No, you just don't want to deal with an MMA fighter. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match is a street fight. Casey Navarro versus AJ Francis. Now, remember, it was AJ Francis who brought Casey Navarro when Rich Swann was injured into the first class. But however, of course, Rich Swann came back. Casey Navarro was more like kicked to the curb. But Casey was out for months due to injury. And now he was back to take on, of course, AJ Francis. And I thought this match was really impressive. And not to mention, AJ Francis tried to use a baseball bat from a guy named Kerry, who was doing, of course, commentary, but luckily Casey Navarro was able to avert it, and then he used it on himself, and then he applied, of course, like play ball. He actually pretended he swing the ball, then he run the home bases, and of course it was a trash can right in between the legs of AJ Francis. But unfortunately, Casey may have gotten the momentum there, but he ended up being going through the tables uh, during the down payment by AJ Francis, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Mike Santana, of course, he has been watching what's been going on, knowing too well he will face Eric Young. Now, I don't know what the hell is Daria Ray's deal. Apparently, she said that she's not going to put Eric Young to face Mike Santana for the TNA World title. And of course, he's putting Steve Macklin and all that. And then, of course, we did see, of course, Santino Marella saying that he doesn't know who messed around with this flight, but he also put a very interesting subject saying that Indy Hartwell has re-signed with TNA, which is Daria Ray, like she cannot believe it happened. I'm sure this is not what she wanted. I think she wanted her to be gone for good, but sorry, it gonna happen. But of course, Santana told Daria, it doesn't matter who you sent because the results are the same, that I'm gonna put my foot up their ass. And that's something we will see one way. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Milo Moore and Victoria Crawford taking on Allie and Rosemary. As you know, these ladies had to deal with the ladies of the Undead Realms. Well, they may have come out differently, but it's something you don't expect. But, of course, Tessa was going to be there, so was Marsha Day. But, of course, Tessa did get involved in the match. But thank God for Marsha Day. She didn't take any crap. But Rosemary was able to pick up the win by pinning Crawford. 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now on to our main event, which is the X Division title. Leon Slater defended against Cedric Alexander. This match was incredible. I mean, Leon Slater, young that he is, he took it to the max. He was able to pick up the first fall, of course, but it was Cedric Alexander that picked up the second with a lumbar check, of course. And then he tried multiple ways, but he was able to make Leon Slater split. And then, of course, he tried 2 lumbar checks for good measure, and just like that, he became the new X Division champion, and of course ending the reign of Leon Slater, but also making sure Leon Slater will never break the longest reigning record. If you guys are probably wondering who was the longest, well, it was Austin Aries, you know, who all of you know he was very controversial back in the day. And then, of course, what no one expected, it was not aired during the post. All of a sudden, Vinci showed up. Giovanni Vinci, remember him? Part of the Imperium with Gunther and Ludwig. Well, he showed up, so it looks like he's making his presence known now in TNA, and I'm going to say that he probably will be aiming for the X Division title. I'm not sure. Some people say he should be aiming for the TNA International title, but we'll see. So for right now, we are done with TNA. Let's move on to our last and final thing, news. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events. With GCW, of course, we have the Live in Milan that will happen later on this month on May 24th. However, I want to make this clear now. It's been told that it's been sold out. However, matches have now been added. We have Shotzi Blackheart taking on Viperous. And then on the 7th of June in Atlantic City for Cage of Survival 5, they just announced Joey Janela versus Jonathan Gresham. Now, as you know, there's going to be a new show that added on the 11th of July at Hartford, Connecticut called You Only Die Once, and names have now been officially added. We have Atticus Coker, Bear Bronson, Gabby Forza, and Busta in the Brain. So that's pretty much for updates for GCW. Now here's for House of Glory updates, of course. We had the Raging War on the 22nd of May at New York City. The House of Glory women's title will be defended Shotzi Blackheart will defend the belt against one half of AEW's Women's World Tag Team Champions, Lena Cross. Then we have Kevin Knight versus Amazing Red, first time ever. And then they did announce that the Hardys will be there, and so will Zilla Fatu. And then we have the Inferno event in Chicago on the 19th of June. It was told that Steph the Landers will be participating. Then we have, of course, West Coast Pro with Cruel Summers on the 20th of June. They announced Johnny Robbie will be participating as well. Then the West Coast Pro will be doing a collaboration with PrideStyle called Rooted. It will happen on the 25th of July at Oakland, California. However, no names have been mentioned who will be participating. And then finally, of our upcoming events, Progress Wrestling with Chapter 196 for I don't know the name of this style, but it will happen on the 26th of July. It was announced Nikki Storm, better known as Nikki Strike, Nikki Cross, will be making her appearance as well. As you all know, she was just recently released, so it's great to hear that she'll be participating. Now, more updates going on about the New Day. As you know, there's been talks about hoping to getting the New Day, of course, into signing to, of course, AEW. However, there's been talks of the possibility of changing their name. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We don't know for sure if it's 100% going to happen or anything. We will find out soon enough when that day comes. Now, there's a new streaming service called Dropkickd. They just added new promotions into their streaming service called Gaia Japan, which of course discontinued, but is also a promotion that used to be run by Shigeru Nagazo. Marvelous, Pro Wrestling Eve, MLW, Freedoms, Evolve, and Bangers Own Wrestling, which is a French promotion. So these are promotions that will be participating in this streaming. Now, there's been talk about Utami Hayashishita, about where she's been going. Recently, there's been rumors circulating about her recruitment to join Michinoku Pro Wrestling with Mirai. She kind of said this: there have been rumors lately that Mirai is recruiting me for Michinoku. I won't comment on that, but I were to say anything, it would be that I used to live in Tohoku and often went to see Michinoku Pro Wrestling when I was a student. I have even lined up at the merch stalls for my favorite wrestlers. I'll just leave it as that. Nori Rina from LLPW and I are in the same age, and we are very close. We were the kind of friends that wish each other happy birthdays, and let's just leave it at that. So basically, it seems like seems that there's been speculations that she might go to this promotion or that. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Now, TKO has, Jake Paul says recently, TKO, of course, have banned him from, of course, attending WWE events because of his brother. That's right. This is what it was said out in it was said. There's been certain points and facts I like to see pushed forward, like the UFC fighter minimum paid is $12,000, and that needed to rise. But from my side, I'm just having fun. The fact that I'm the one with the biggest organization in the world, TKO Group, has this major beef with me. They won't even let me attend my brother's WWE matches because they hate me so much. Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, we know some people don't like them. I get it. Now, John Cena made reference about, of course, Mason Rook. As you know, he's been mentioned now in NXT, and this is what they said. It's no secret that I think those in the know that I chant everybody else. He's big, he's bad, he body slammed your dad. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, I want you to go check that out. I'm a fan. So it seems that he's a big fan. So I'm surprised at that too. Now, Swerve Strickland talked about Danhausen, that he hopes that they don't burn his momentum and his opportunities. And he says this: I'm so happy for him. I just don't want them to burn him out so quick before the year is over. I'm like, no, you gotta cherish this guy. It's a lot on both shows. He's busy, he's moving, he's at the headquarters, he's at Mrs. House, he's on Raw, he's on SmackDown, he's with Stephen A. Mill. I'm like, there's a lot of Danhausen. And congrats to him. You don't say no to all those opportunities and take them. But man, I want to see these opportunities still happening in 5 years. 3 years, next year, I want to see these opportunities still happening for you and growing. So he's very happy for Danhausen, but he's hoping WWE doesn't burn him. And I don't blame him for feeling that way, and I think many of us are hoping the same thing too. Now, WWE has announced that they are, of course, bringing back the house shows. The first one will happen on March 11th in La Cruces in New Mexico. Will go all the way to August 30th in Charleston, South Carolina, at the North Charleston Coliseum. So there's more events on that. So you guys should check that out. There is a schedule on this one, and you should check it out wherever they're at. I think tickets will be starting on May 19th, 10 a.m. local time. So we'll see. If you guys are planning to go see that, do so. So as of right now, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, well, I may most likely focus on Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. That's probably going to be the one event that I might have to focus on. I'm not sure if there's anything else because I got some errands I have to play out, but we'll see how things go from there. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is, and we'll see how things will go in my way. If I'm just going to focus on Ring of Honor, then so be it. So as of right now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.